is when I was 6 years old, I was raped. I was raped at my grandparents' house. I was asleep and I had woken up and realized that my cousin was inside me at the age of 6. When he had realized that I had woken up, he decided to try and kiss me to go back to bed. And I was so young that I just thought it would be easier just to shut my eyes and just pretend like this isn't happening. After that, I felt weird but fine. It wasn't until my siblings and I had told my mum what had happened. That's when all of these emotions really came up. Because after that, I felt so helpless, angry, upset, but mainly a lot of anger. Like, I've had to deal with a lot of anger over the years. I definitely felt unsafe, not protected, vulnerable. What I did about it was, when I told my mum, she had the best reaction any parent could have. Straight away, she told me, "I believe you, hands down. I will stand by you. This is what we've got to do." I didn't even know, like, there was all of this process that you have to do if that's happened to you. And went to the police station, did the statements, the police reports, and they didn't believe us. You have 4 people telling you that they've all been sexually assaulted and you don't believe them? It's definitely makes you see people that should be doing the best thing for you in a different perspective. The pigs. Sorry, that was very inappropriate. Definitely use humor as a coping mechanism, because you've got to laugh, otherwise you'd be sad all the time. So when they didn't believe us and we got home, my mum gave us 2 options. The first option is we can stay living where we are. You might run into them from time to time and cut contact. Or she would move us so far away that she would get our safety nets back. They weren't going to know where we lived. They weren't going to have our information. We'd actually feel protected. Like, moved onto 100 acres, got a bunch of dogs. So it's like, to even find where we were living, you'd have about 10 dogs go off before that. And to even get to our house, good luck. So my mom definitely, she instilled something that I didn't know I had lost until it had come back. It impacts the way I have sex in sometimes if I'm really, really angry. Like, honestly, I've dealt with it really well. I have great days, I have bad days, just like anyone. But when I have so much anger pent up, my mind goes in just all different directions. And it's hard for me to have sex when my mind's racing a lot. But every partner that I've ever had, I've been, completely honest about what's happened. There's nothing to be ashamed of, especially if it's happened to you. You aren't the one that should be ashamed. It's the person who did it that should, not you. But when I first had sex after I was raped, I waited until I was 18 years old. So 12 years after being raped, I waited 12 years to have sex with consent after being raped. It's weird when you say it out loud, you know. I had to be really in control of the situation. I had to know that I gave full consent. It was my choice, my decision. This is special to me because of everything that had happened in the past. And working through those things within myself definitely helped, because I'm a lot better now. Working through those things within myself definitely helped, because I'm a lot better now. Like, sex is a beautiful, fun, playful thing to do, you know. It's something that is liberating when you're okay with it. So I'm 21 now, and I've definitely healed really well over what's happened. But sometimes the feelings of anger, being upset, being disappointed definitely comes up. Not all the time, just here and there. The person who raped me, Isabella, is in Sydney. And I moved back to Sydney when I was 16 to do a course. And I was born and raised in Sydney. I love Sydney. Anyways, moving on from being raped is one thing, but seeing the person who's raped you in person, looking them straight in the eye and them knowing that it's you, that's different. After Christmas, my mum, she had bought me jewelry for my birthday. It's in January, and I had to get it resized, so I went to Westfields. Call it intuition, gut feeling, whatever you want to call it, but I just knew in the pit of my stomach that I was going to run into him that day. And I actually did. I had envisioned all of these scenarios that if I ever saw him, you know, I was going to beat the living shit out of him. If I ever saw him, I was going to go off. If I ever saw him, like, so many things run through your mind after something that happens to you with someone that's a family member. Like, you don't actually know how you're going to react until you're in that situation in person in real life. And I saw him, and we looked at each other straight in the eyes. And even though it had happened when I was 6, he knew it was me. He looked ashamed. He just looked really guilty. And I actually felt strong. I felt empowered. I didn't need to go off and show that I was this big person now, because I'd learned, you know? And that felt truly amazing, is going what you've been through, working through it, saying that you're over it, and then actually being over it. That's crazy. And when I got home, I felt safe. I felt protected. And I told my mom, and she was really proud. And I didn't cry, and I didn't have all of these mixed emotions. I felt strong. So many people have been through worse, but the way that you deal with it definitely determines your mind frame. And one of the best things that I think, especially if you have anger, is working out. I sometimes go to gym, could be 1 hour, could be 2 hours, but I know that by the time I get home, I've exercised so much mentally and physically that I'm not tired or angry anymore. I'm just sore, physically sore. And it's easier to go to sleep when you actually let off steam, instead of just harboring it inside you.